Paul Tierney raises the red card. Lisandro Martinez walks off. 3 games suspended for a hair pull. 7 days later, same referee, same type of incident. Brentford's Dango Ouattara. Nothing, not even a yellow card. And right now, Martinez is serving his ban, while Ouattara is preparing to face Manchester United at Old Trafford. That is where we are. That is the reality. And that is just one of the stories we are breaking down today. Transfers are moving. Scouts have been sent. Bids are being prepared. The club is active. And the landscape around Manchester United is shifting fast. My name is Emma. This is Emma United Analyst. No noise, no filler, just the full picture. Let us get straight into it. Fitness update on Leny Yoro and Matheus Cunha. Here is what we know. Manchester United are hopeful that both Leny Yoro and Matheus Cunha will be fit and available to face Brentford. Yoro missed the Chelsea game due to a small knock picked up in training, and it is not considered serious. Cunha, on the other hand, experienced a little bit of discomfort in his right groin and had to be substituted during the Chelsea fixture. Now, let me break this down for you. Both of these players being available for the Brentford game matters enormously. Yoro is a player United have invested significant hope in. Every time he misses a game, the squad feels thinner at the back. And Cunha has been one of the few bright spots in what has been a difficult season. A groin issue is always something to monitor carefully. Groin problems can linger if not managed properly. The fact that the club are described as hopeful rather than confident tells you there is still an element of uncertainty here. I would not assume either player is 100% until we see them on the team sheet. But the direction is positive, and that is something United fans can take encouragement from heading into the Brentford fixture. Diogo Dalot and Benjamin Sesko exchange. Here is what was said. Diogo Dalot addressed Benjamin Sesko directly with these words. He said, "I give interviews. I say you are an amazing kid and you want to do everything. And you say in front of the cameras that I am lazy and boring. Thanks, Benjamin Sesko. Thank you for the kind words." Sesko responded by saying, "No, you are amazing as well. First of all, I did not say you were lazy, just boring, because you do not want to play cards with me." And Dalot closed it with a laugh, saying, "Yeah, but I played cards when I was 15. Here is how I see this. I love moments like this because they reveal the atmosphere inside a dressing room. This exchange, while funny on the surface, actually tells you something important. These players are comfortable with each other. There is a genuine relationship between Dalot and Sesko. Now remember, Sesko is a player who has been linked with a move to Manchester United. Seeing him joke around with a key United player like Dalot in this way gives you a small but meaningful insight into the social dynamics that can influence transfer decisions. Players talk to each other. Comfort and familiarity matter. This was a light moment, but do not dismiss it as just banter. Before we go further, I want to pause for just a moment, because what we are building here today is a complete picture of Manchester United at a crossroads. Decisions being made right now in the boardroom, on the training pitch, and in the transfer market will define what this club looks like for the next 3 to 5 years. If you want this level of analysis consistently, do not forget to hit that subscribe button. It helps this channel grow, and it means you never miss a breakdown like this one. Now let us keep going. Aurélien Tchouameni added to Manchester United midfield shortlist. Here is what is being reported. Real Madrid's Aurélien Tchouameni has been added to Manchester United's midfield target shortlist as the club prepares to replace Casemiro. His future at Real Madrid could hinge on whether Rodri leaves Manchester City in the summer. Now here is what this really means. Tchouameni is a top-level midfielder. His presence on United's shortlist signals that the club are thinking big when it comes to midfield recruitment. However, the key phrase here is could hinge on whether Rodri leaves. That introduces a chain of events that United have absolutely no control over. If Rodri stays at City, Real Madrid may hold on to Tchouameni. If Rodri leaves, Real Madrid might feel the need to keep Tchouameni as their long-term midfield anchor. Either way, United's ability to sign this player depends on decisions made by other clubs. That is a complicated transfer situation, and fans should temper their expectations accordingly. He is on the list. That is all we can say for now. Manchester United stepping up interest in Orkun Kökçü. Here is what is being reported. Manchester United are stepping up their interest in Besiktas midfielder Orkun Kökçü as competition for midfield targets intensifies. However, Besiktas will not accept offers below 60 million euros. Tottenham are also keen on the midfielder, but their chances depend on whether they avoid relegation to the Championship. Let me give you my honest take on this. 2 things stand out here. First, 60 million euros is the floor, not the ceiling. That means any serious bid from United has to start at 60 million euros and realistically could go higher if negotiations develop. Second, the involvement of Tottenham is worth noting. Tottenham being a potential rival bidder adds urgency, but the fact that Tottenham's chances are described as dependent on avoiding relegation suggests their position is weaker. If Spurs go down, they are out of the race entirely. That could actually work in United's favour, reducing competition and potentially stabilising the asking price. The situation is one where United hold a stronger hand than Tottenham right now. Morten H. Gelman of Sporting CP being monitored. Here is what is being reported. Manchester United are among the clubs monitoring Sporting CP midfielder Morten H. Gelman, who has an €80 million release clause. The midfielder has attracted interest as United assess midfield options. H. Gelman is currently happy at Sporting, but a deal could still be explored. A move may become more likely if Manchester United secure qualification for the UEFA Champions League. Here is the part most people are missing. This is a critical detail. The Champions League qualification condition changes everything. If United do not qualify for the Champions League, the likelihood of attracting a player like Hjulmand, who is described as currently happy at his club, drops significantly. This story is directly tied to United's league performance between now and the end of the season. Hjulmand's €80 million release clause is significant but not unmanageable for a top club. The real barrier here is not money, it is prestige and competition. Players want to play in the Champions League. United need to earn the right to make this kind of pitch. Gary Pallister recommends Sandro Tonali for Casemiro replacement. Here is what was said. Manchester United legend Gary Pallister shared his personal opinion on who should replace Casemiro. He said, "Personally, I would like to see Sandro Tonali from Newcastle. I think he ticks a lot of boxes. I think he has got a tough side to him, a mental toughness to him, terrific ability, creative ability as well. I think he would perfectly fit the Manchester United side." Here is what you really need to understand. Gary Pallister is not in the building. He is not making transfer decisions. But legend opinions carry weight with the fan base, and this one is worth examining. Tonali at Newcastle has shown exactly the qualities Pallister describes. Mental toughness, creativity, and energy are all things this United midfield has desperately lacked. The key question that Pallister does not address is whether Newcastle would sell, and at what price. That information is not available here, so I will not speculate. But what I can say is that the type of player Pallister is describing, combative, technically sound, and mentally resilient, is exactly what United's midfield profile demands. Pallister has identified the right profile, even if the specific player situation involves many unknowns. Manchester United set to bid for Eduardo Conceição. Here is what is being reported. Manchester United are set to submit a €40 million bid in the coming days for 16-year-old Palmeiras forward Eduardo Conceição. Let me put this in plain terms for you. This is a rumour. The phrase "set to submit" means the bid has not been made yet. It is being anticipated, not confirmed. €40 million for a 16-year-old is an extraordinary investment. It signals that United are looking to secure talent at the youngest possible age and develop it over time. But I want to be clear with you. Until that bid is submitted and a deal is agreed, this remains speculation. Monitor this one closely, but do not treat it as dumb business. Manchester United scouts watch Eli Junior Krupi. Here is what is being reported. Manchester United sent scouts to watch Bournemouth's 2-1 win over Newcastle, with Eli Junior Krupi as their main focus, though other players were also monitored. The 19-year-old forward has scored 10 goals in an impressive debut season, fitting United's search for a versatile attacker, potentially to replace Joshua Zirkzee. Here is my take on what is really going on. 10 goals in a debut Premier League season at 19 years old is remarkable. That is not a small number. That is a statement of potential. The fact that United sent scouts specifically focused on this player tells you the club's recruitment team is doing their homework properly. The phrase "potentially to replace Joshua Zirkzee" is significant because it tells you something about how United view Zirkzee's future at the club. It suggests that position is not considered settled. Krupi, at 19, with 10 goals in his first top-flight season, fits the profile of a player who could be bought now and developed into a key performer. This one is worth watching very closely. We are halfway through, and I promise you the second half of this analysis gets even more significant. We are going to talk about Pedro Porro, João Gomes, Cole Palmer, refereeing controversy, Alan Shearer's VIR rage, and two very important articles on Manchester United's midfield future. If you find this level of detail valuable, subscribe right now and turn on notifications so you never miss a video from this channel. Now let us keep building. Manchester United make formal inquiries about Pedro Porro. Here is what is being reported. Manchester United have made formal inquiries about Pedro Porro, the 26-year-old Spanish right-back, who is reportedly open to a new challenge. Let me walk you through this step by step. Formal inquiries are not the same as a bid. but they are more than casual interest. A formal inquiry means direct contact has been made. It means United are serious enough to ask official questions about availability and terms. Pedro Porro, at 26 years old, is in the prime of his career. His age profile fits what United should be targeting. The fact that he is described as open to a new challenge is an important detail. A player who wants to leave is significantly easier to sign than one who needs convincing. This transfer situation has real momentum behind it. Watch this one carefully. Wolves relegated. João Gomes price expected to drop. Here is what is being reported. Wolves have been officially relegated from the Premier League. Manchester United are interested in João Gomes, with the expectation that his price will now drop following Wolves' relegation. Tottenham are also mentioned as potential suitors. Here is how I see this. Relegation changes the economics of a transfer completely. Wolves going down to the Championship means they will likely need to sell players to manage their financial obligations. João Gomes, as one of their standout performers, will attract interest, and United are positioned to take advantage of a reduced asking price. The situation is straightforward from a business perspective. A relegated club needs to raise funds. An interested buyer with Premier League stability and financial resources has significant leverage in negotiations. This is one of those situations where United's interest is well-timed. However, Tottenham's involvement again introduces competition, and we should not assume United will automatically win that race. Paul Scholes comments on Cole Palmer. Here is what was said. Paul Scholes addressed the idea of Manchester United signing Cole Palmer. He said, "The only problem I would see with signing him for Manchester United is where does he play? He does not play instead of Bruno Fernandes. Now, if Bruno Fernandes goes in the summer, then yeah, all day long." Now, here is what this really means. Paul Scholes has identified a genuine tactical problem with a precision that only someone who has played at the highest level can. Cole Palmer is a number 10. Bruno Fernandes is a number 10. You cannot have both playing their natural positions in the same system. Scholes is not dismissing Palmer. He is actually endorsing him strongly by saying if Bruno leaves, signing Palmer would be an obvious decision. The underlying story here is actually about Bruno Fernandes' future at Manchester United. Scholes' comment opens that door without fully walking through it. The situation is that United may need to choose between keeping Bruno and pursuing Palmer. That is a significant decision that the club will have to face. Or Kunkoksu, interest confirmed by second source. Here is what is being reported. A second source confirms Manchester United are stepping up interest in Orkun Korksu amid growing competition for midfield targets. Tottenham are also keen on the Besiktas midfielder, who is valued at around £52 million. However, Spurs will only be in the race if they avoid relegation to the Championship. Here is the part most people are missing. The fact that a second independent source is now confirming United's interest in Korksu elevates this story significantly. When one source reports something, it could be a leak or a trial balloon. When two separate sources confirm the same thing, it starts to look like genuine intent. £52 million is a specific valuation, and it aligns closely with the €60 million figure mentioned in the earlier report. These numbers are consistent, which adds credibility. United appear to be genuinely serious about Korksu. The competition from Tottenham is real but conditional. This is a transfer situation with real substance behind it. Manchester United and Newcastle monitor Ousmane Diomande. Here is what is being reported. Manchester United and Newcastle United are closely following Ousmane Diomande this season. His performances against Arsenal in the Champions League have significantly boosted his profile. The 22-year-old reportedly has an €80 million release clause, but Sporting CP would be open to negotiating a fee of around £43 million. Let me break this down for you. This is a fascinating situation. Ousmane Diomande has raised his profile through performances in the biggest competition in European football. That is how defenders earn big moves. The gap between his release clause and the negotiated fee that Sporting would accept is enormous. €80 million release clause versus £43 million negotiated fee. That is a significant difference, and it tells you Sporting CP are motivated to do business at the right price. The involvement of Newcastle adds competition. And at 22 years old, Diomande fits perfectly into the kind of long-term investment profile that a rebuilding club like Manchester United should be making. This is a rumour at this stage, but it is a credible and interesting one. Alan Shearer criticises VAR inconsistency. Here is what was said. Alan Shearer made his feelings very clear. He said the VAR sent the referee to the screen last week. Man United game with a tiny tug, if anything, I am not even sure he meant it. With a tiny tug of the hair, and he sent off for violent conduct Martinez. Yet you look at Gabriel, the way he shoved his head into Haaland's head. How on earth is that not a red card? Seriously, what the hell is going on in our game with VAR? My take on it is that they probably said we do not really want to get involved in the title race. Let me give you my honest take on this. Alan Shearer is one of the most credible voices in English football. When someone with his standing makes a comparison this directly and this publicly, it is not something that can be easily dismissed. The comparison he draws is clear. A tiny hair tug by Martinez results in a red card. A deliberate head into Haaland's face by Gabriel results in nothing. These are not minor inconsistencies. These are decisions that affect suspensions, game outcomes, and title races. Shearer's suggestion that VAR may be avoiding involvement in the title race is extraordinary. He is not saying it as a conspiracy theory. He is framing it as a logical conclusion based on the decisions being made. Manchester United fans have every right to feel aggrieved. The evidence being presented here suggests the standard being applied to United players is not being applied uniformly across the league. The refereeing controversy in full. Now let me take you through the full picture on the Lisandro Martinez red card situation, because it connects to multiple things we have already discussed today. The situation is as follows. Lisandro Martinez received a red card in the Manchester United versus Leeds game for what was described as violent conduct involving a hair pull on Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He is now serving a 3-game suspension. The following weekend, Brentford's Ouattara committed what many observers considered a very similar incident during Brentford's game against Fulham. He received no red card. He was not even booked. Here is the part that makes this impossible to ignore. Both matches were officiated by the same referee. Paul Tierney was in charge of the Martinez red card game. Paul Tierney was also in charge of the Brentford-Fulham game, where Ouattara received nothing. Former referee Dermot Gallagher, speaking on Sky Sports, attempted to explain the difference. His position was that there was no conclusive evidence that Ouattara deliberately pulled the hair. He said, and I want to be precise here, no conclusive evidence that he has done it deliberately. It falls under violent conduct because it has to fall under something. It is very personal, but there is no conclusive evidence that Dango pulls his hair. Let me walk you through this step by step. Gallagher is essentially saying the Ouattara incident was too ambiguous to act on, but the question that United fans are rightly asking is this. Was the Martinez incident treated with the same level of scrutiny before the red card was shown? Former referee Mark Clattenburg has stated publicly that Manchester United should feel aggrieved at the lack of consistency. Former footballer Jay Bothroyd went further, saying he did not believe either player had acted deliberately and that neither incident should have resulted in a red card. The consequence of all of this is very direct and very damaging for Manchester United. Lisandro Martinez is serving the second game of a 3-game ban. He will miss the fixture against Brentford. Dango Ouattara, the Brentford player who committed the comparable incident, faces no ban whatsoever. He is available to play against Manchester United at Old Trafford. The very player who benefited from inconsistent officiating will now be on the pitch against the club whose player was harshly treated by the same referee. Here is what you really need to understand. The situation is deeply unfair when you look at it from Manchester United's perspective, and I think it is important that this channel says that clearly, without softening it to avoid controversy. The facts support the frustration. 2 similar incidents, same referee, completely different outcomes, one player banned for 3 games, the other free to play. That is a problem for the integrity of officiating in this league. The midfield transfer picture. Now let us bring together everything we know about Manchester United's midfield planning, because when you look at all of these stories together, a very clear picture emerges. United need to replace Casemiro. That is the starting point. The club are actively exploring multiple options at various price points and profiles. At the highest level of ambition, Aurelien Tchouameni of Real Madrid is on the shortlist. His situation depends heavily on external factors at his club and at Manchester City. This is a complex long-shot target. Then there is Orkun Kökçü of Besiktas. 2 separate sources have now confirmed United's serious and growing interest. The price is around £52 million to €60 million depending on the source. Tottenham are also interested but in a weakened position. This is the most credible and most advanced midfield pursuit currently visible. Morten Hjulmand of Sporting CP has an €80 million release clause and is being monitored. A move is described as more likely if United qualify for the Champions League. This one is tied to United's league performance. Alex Scott of Bournemouth is attracting interest from both Chelsea and Manchester United. He is 22 years old, with 84% passing accuracy, 4 goals and 1 assist in 34 appearances this season. His value as a box-to-box midfielder fits the profile United need. The estimated price starts around £50 million and could rise to £65 million if multiple clubs compete. Chelsea's interest makes this a genuine bidding situation. Sandro Tonali from Newcastle has been recommended by Gary Pallister as a perfect fit, but no transfer information is available beyond that opinion. João Gomes of Wolves becomes a viable option now that Wolves have been relegated. His price is expected to drop significantly, and United's interest is confirmed. Let me put this in plain terms for you. The picture that emerges is of a club that has identified multiple realistic targets across different price ranges and profiles. The midfield rebuild is not a vague plan, it is an active process with real names, real numbers, and real competition. The question now is which of these targets the club prioritize when the window opens. The attacking transfer picture. On the attacking side, United's scouting activity has been significant. Eli Junior Krupi of Bournemouth has been directly scouted and is described as a potential replacement for Joshua Zirkzee. He is 19 years old with 10 league goals in his debut season. This is serious interest, not casual monitoring. Eduardo Conceição of Palmeiras is just 16 years old, and a €40 million bid is reportedly being prepared. If true, this is a significant long-term investment in a teenage talent. Ousmane Diomande of Sporting CP is being monitored for the defensive side, but his profile as a 22-year-old central defender with Champions League experience against top opposition makes him an interesting target. Pedro Porro of Tottenham has had formal inquiries made by United and is reportedly open to a move. At 26, he represents a ready-made option at right-back. And then there is Cole Palmer of Chelsea, where Paul Scholes has made clear that the positional question around Bruno Fernandes is the central issue. That story is as much about Bruno's future as it is about Palmer's potential arrival. When you step back and look at everything covered today, the story of Manchester United right now is a club in active transition. The injury picture on Euro and Cunha is cautiously positive. The refereeing controversy around Martinez is legitimate and unresolved. The transfer activity spans multiple positions, multiple price points, and multiple levels of seniority from 16-year-old prospects to established top-level internationals. The midfield is the priority. The evidence suggests United are pursuing this with genuine urgency and serious intent. The right-back position with the Porro inquiries is also being addressed. The forward position has multiple options being evaluated. What United need now is for their results on the pitch to match the ambition of their planning off it. Because several of these deals, particularly Hjulmand and potentially others, are contingent on Champions League football. That means every game between now and the end of the season is not just about points. It is about the club's ability to attract the caliber of player they are targeting. The reality for the club is that the decisions made in this transfer window will echo for years. Get it right and United begin a genuine rebuild. Get it wrong, and another summer of disappointment follows. I am Emma. This has been Emma United Analyst. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. Please subscribe, leave a comment below telling me which transfer you think United should prioritize this summer, and I will see you in the next one.